What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Day Trading Bootcamp. Today is episode 7, I hope, and today's video is on sessions. Today's video is super simple. It's just about the trading sessions, what they are, when they are, how they work, things to consider, and this is going to tie into our next video, which is going to be liquidity part 2. So this is very important to build upon the next video, which is another super important video. So just make sure you pay attention. It's super quick. There's going to be no back testing on your end, but it's just something you really need to pay attention to. So that being said, without further ado, let's get right into it. All right, so jumping right into things, what are trading sessions and what trading sessions do we actually have? So a trading session is just when the banks are currently trading for a specific area of the world. So we have 3 trading sessions. We have the London session, we have the Asian session, and we have the New York session. And this is just when the banks are open and actively executing orders trading in their specific countries. So London session is from 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. Asia session is from 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. And New York session is from 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. So that being said, why do you care when banks are trading across the world? Well, that actually matters to you, and the liquidity that is put in when they're trading is very important to you, especially if you trade New York sessions. So why are these important? Tons of liquidity, because obviously these banks are trading and they're filling their orders. They're hundreds of millions of dollars worth of orders in these specific times. So orders are going to rest when they were trading. So this is a very important section of price to be worried about. On top of this, you can kind of see with how the price action is moving during these sessions, you can almost predict what's going to happen the next session that occurs. So you can see if there is currently expansion, delivery, or reversal. So if you have a session of delivery, for example, you could be delivering off of another session's liquidity pool. If you have a session where you're expanding, you could be continuing the move that was started in a different session. Or if you have reversal, you could be reversing like enough of a change because of the liquidity of another session's orders. So that's all of that for what could be happening there, and you can kind of predict what's going to happen for the session you're trying to trade. Specifically New York session, which is all we're going to be worrying about. I don't trade Asia session. I don't trade London session. There's 3 parts to the New York session. So you have pre-market, which is from 8 to about 9:30, and then you have New York AM, which is all that I trade. That's all you'll be trading if you trade my model, how I do, when I do. You're going to be trading from 9:30 to 11. That's the only time I'm looking at price action, because that is when there is the most volatility, and we'll get into how to see this later on. And you also have New York lunch hour, which is just from 12 to 1. That's when no one's really trading, because these Wall Street guys are out getting a glass of wine and some nice lunch with their blonde wives. So that's when nothing's really going on in lunch hour, nothing to worry about. And then you have New York PM, which is also important because it's the end of the trading day, and that's when you see a little bit of a pickup in volume. And sometimes we have PM news too, so that could be another thing to worry about. But we'll talk about that in liquidity part 2. Now, how can you see this liquidity, and how do you know when to mark it out and where to mark it out? Well, guess what? You don't have to do anything, and I'm about to make your life so much easier. What you're going to do is you're going to pop over to the indicator section, which is this button right up here, and you're going to click it. And you are going to search up ICT kill zones plus pivots. And you are going to click the first one that pops up. It's going to have TFO next to it. And you're going to favorite it, and you're going to turn it on. Pause. And what this is going to put is a bunch of colored boxes on your screen. So your indicators that you have active are going to pop up right up here, right beneath your little NQ button. And it's going to show you when all these sessions are. So what you can see in these boxes are we have New York AM, we have New York lunch, we have New York PM, and then we also have our Asia session trading session and our London session trading session. So these boxes just signify where this trading session occurred and the key price points in this level. So you have the high and the low of the trading session. This is super useful to you because you can see session highs and lows. Now, what are session highs and lows, John? Well, they are just the highest and the lowest point that a current trading session put in. So if London session highs are right here, that's the highest point London session traded to, and that's going to be a significant high for us to worry about in New York AM. Why might this high be important? Well, think about it. You have an entire country's banking system trading at this time, and we put in the high. This is the highest price ever reached. So we put in a high time frame high for an entire trading session right up here. There is going to be a ridiculous amount of orders at this high, because that is the highest point price reached during the session. So all of their orders that are going to be sell orders are going to be placed up here. So this is a very significant liquidity pool. Great for draws, great for reversals, but we cover that in liquidity part 2. That being said, that is all for sessions and the different sessions and what they are. You're going to be using these every day. You're always going to hear me referring to in my live streams. Free Discord, link in bio, by the way. and link in description for the live streams. I live trade every single day. Anyways, you're always going to hear me referring to London lows. There's Asia lows. These liquidity pools are super important. I use them literally every day, almost every day as targets and for reversals, just because there's so many orders there and they're so important if you trade ICT concepts how we do. So definitely something you need to be aware of and have on your charts, and encourage you all now, go into your charts, go into your backtesting, and put this indicator on and just use it for whenever you carry on throughout the backtesting process. And I will go further in depth in how I use these pools in Liquidity Part 2, which is the next video of the bootcamp. So please continue watching and go on to that. Well, that is all we need to cover for sessions. Just keep it in the back of your mind, and you will now use this every day forever. So get used to it. Join the Asians, join the London British people, their tea, and get familiar with all these trading sessions. You'll be using them. Thank you all for watching this video. Like I said, link in description for Discord. Like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.